Hello everyone, welcome to the BrickLink Designer Program Series 9. In this case, we have 436 designs, and I'm going to go through the ones that I find to be my favorites, either in my top 5, or the ones I predict that LEGO will eventually produce as LEGO sets, or the ones that I have submitted. Let's actually start with those, and there are two. I have dedicated videos on those, so you can check those if you want, but basically I have the app development team, which is this submission right here, representing an IDE, an integrated development environment, which is basically a software tool used to write software or create software. We have basically 3 developers that are using this big tool to develop an application for the LEGO City Museum. We see here a bunch of the exhibits done in microscale, and you can also buy the tickets here using the app. That's pretty cool. Here's a better look at the minifigures. And so please remember to vote for these submissions by selecting the Love It, both for my submissions, but also other people's submissions if you really like what they have done. The other submission that I've worked on is the Awesome Space Tower. This one is a fully transparent, fully enclosed tower with each level representing a different LEGO space theme. So we have classic space, for example, on the ground level, Blacktron, Neutron, and so on. And each level also has some fun activities for the minifigures, including go-karts, a microscale monorail, and this classic space logo that's repeated here on the top floor where there's an observation deck with telescopes. So lots of cool stuff in the Awesome Space Tower. Be sure to check this out as well. Check the link in the description, and also the video is also available right now on my channel. And by the way, there's lots of upside down building in this submission, lots of nice part usages. Be sure to check that out. But in order to avoid any bias, I'm going to avoid my own submissions when selecting the top 5. So in no particular order, my top 5 submissions include the Space Cafe by Rock and Bricks 31. I love the color scheme, I love the design. It's really well designed. It has a nice feel to it. I like the color scheme. It's very retro futuristic. I love the arcade here, the nice part usage. Lots and lots of cool things here. There's a bit of sense of humor as well, so I find that to be funny. So this is an awesome submission, and I hope that it becomes a LEGO set in 2027 when it's released. The next submission I have in the top 5 is the Lunar Cargo Crane, or Train rather. So this is again another very nice submission with the classic space minifigures in teal and gold this time. Yeah, all builds that can be packed up and transported to faraway planets. Lots of modularity. You have this telescope or transceiver rather as well. And yeah, very nice submission. And this does fit on the standard train track. I love trains, I love LEGO space. This is definitely a nice submission for me, and the designer is Nilock or Nilock. The next submission I have is the Capsule Tower Hotel by Visaggio 1. And this is basically a building that's made of modular components. It is fully enclosed, yet you can see easily inside because of all the transparent pieces. So nice, and I like that the designer shows us what this looks like so that there's no confusion or ambiguity. We also get to see the minifigure lineup, so that's pretty cool. Here's a look at some of the interior designs. Floor 1, Floor 2. Yeah, really amazing submission by the designer. I hope that this actually becomes a LEGO set in the future. Next up we have the Clutch Town Tramway, Old Meets New, by Louis Dianarcho, or Dianarco, I'm not sure. But I do like the idea of old meets new. I always like this idea, and here it's applicable to trains and also a train in teal, which is my favorite color. So this is definitely a set that I would want to pick up. We see here very clearly what the set is going to include, including the minifigures, the trains themselves, the tracks, even the wiring. It's all shown here in a very clear way. And I like the brick-built LEGO train logo. That's very nice. That's a cute collection of builds. And of course here we have the modern tramway, which is my favorite thanks to its color scheme. And both of these can be motorized, which is an additional bonus for this set. I'll point in favor of it. So another amazing submission. Finally, last and certainly not least in my top 5 is the Squid Island Castle by BrickLink. And I just love everything about it. Color scheme, I like the design, the minifigures is all amazing. I like the sea serpent that's just wrapping around the whole castle. I like the kraken here, or the squid. That's completely brick built. Here we have the castle can be displayed in a closed form or in an open form or at an angle, so lots of different options for display, which is amazing. Yeah, I just love the color scheme, the fact that we're not just doing everything in just gray. Yeah, this looks amazing to me. I really hope this becomes an actual look in the future. Wow. Wherever I look, I see so many details, and I love the minifigure selection, especially the ones in teal, and I like the hair of the minifigure on the right. It looks very windswept and very appropriate for this. Now, before I give you my predictions for the sets that I think LEGO is going to end up producing when the winners are announced, let's look at the honorable mentions. So here I'll do a rapid fire for each one. I used to have about 100 or more than 100 honorable mentions, but I've managed to narrow it down to about 20 or something like that. So still, everyone who submitted something to this competition deserves a shout out, but there's no way I can go through 436 submissions and still have people watching the video. So if I don't mention your submission, it's not that it's not good, it's just that I have to prioritize. So without further ado, Anatomy of the Human Heart. I like this submission. It's something new, it's something I've never seen before. Now this gives me an idea of what other organs can be built out of LEGO. So could we build a liver, could we build lungs, could we build a working heart that actually pumps blood, or fake blood, you know. It gives me lots of ideas. The Autumn River Bend Retreat. I like the submission as well because it looks like it's 2 different builds that are connected by this water. It looks like an impossible build from it. Well, it's not really impossible, but it just looks that way, so it has that very nice optical illusion to it. The Border Terrier, a happy dog. We did get a LEGO cat, and this dog is going to go very well alongside it. It's very detailed, very cute. I love the eyes. I just love the fact that the designer gave it a heart. This is nice. This is nice, and this might actually make it to the top 5. Actually, it's just so cute, very detailed. I'm just curious how many pieces is this. It's almost 3,000 parts, so very parts intensive, but the end result is worth it in my opinion. A cute little doggy. Next up, we have the Creative Corner. I like the colors used in this build more than anything else. So yeah, it's a fully enclosed building, which I do like, and I like the use of color all throughout. So it's very well done. I like the tree, the colors. It's a white tree with the leaves in different colors. That really is something that we don't see all the time. Yeah, I like the consistency, and you can also make it a 2-story display instead of a 3-story display, so you can hide one of the floors. Yeah, it's a nice build, a nice submission, and I hope that this makes it. Next up, we have the emotions collection, or I would call this the emoji collection, but maybe that's trademarked or something. Again, it's something that I have not seen before. It sounds obvious, but it's not obvious till it's done. So this designer has created the very famous emoji in Lego, completely brick built. And I have to say kudos to the designer for these very nice designs. I like all of them, and I could see this being an actual Lego. The experimental steam-powered suspended train is another nice submission. The designer must have put a lot of effort into this. All the designers did, but this one has complex mechanisms, so that goes even more so for this particular submission. You're building a suspended train, and like just 2 parts under the part limit. So this guy or this person must have worked very hard on this submission to make it work. And let's see, is there a video that explains how this thing works? I hope there's a video. Unfortunately, there isn't. My suggestion to the designer would be to create a video, because every time you have a mechanism, I think it's more easy to see it in action instead of trying to imagine it just from the pictures. But obviously, a lot of effort went into designing this thing. And yeah, maybe in the future we could see this actually in action, moving along a track. I really would like to see a suspended rail, a suspended train in Lego. Next, we have the forest house in Fern Valley. I like this submission because of the transparency of the windows, so you can have a house that's fully enclosed, but at the same time you can see what's inside it. I also love the foliage that's all around, so lots of foliage here on the ground. There's a bit of water as well, and these very nice trees. So yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff here in this submission, and I really like the end result. So this is a cute submission, and I hope that it wins as well. The Grand Victorian, this is a fancy submission, so I want to play the fancy Victorian music whenever I look at this, and the designer actually brick built this in real life. So massive credit to the designer for being able to actually source the parts, put it together for real, make sure that all the angles work, and the interior is amazing. It's so fancy. You have like some cake, you have the bathroom. I've never seen a fancier bathroom in Lego before. That's amazing. Everywhere I look, I see splendor, I see magnificence, luxury. This is amazing. Just look at that. Look at that. This is really, really nice. Yeah. I would not be surprised if this actually made it to the top 5. I wouldn't. How everything separates. Obviously, the designer put their heart and soul into this. An amazing submission. The Granite Grinder is a throwback to Rock Raiders. I believe we've seen something similar to this before, but it is nice to see it again, and I hope that this wins just to tell Lego to bring back Rock Raiders. I think they will do that eventually, but just hope that it's sooner rather than later. Next up, we have the Griffin Person Dragon, and the Griffin here is a new build to me. I've not seen this before. And the dragon is similar to a previous submission that we've seen, very likely by the same designer. And here the 2 creatures are facing off in a fierce battle. So that's pretty cool, and I like how the designer is showing the point of articulation here to make it very clear with a nice legend. That's quality work by the designer right there. And they're doing the same thing for the Griffin as well. And I do like the brick built details for the head, especially. On the wings are using the surfboard pieces in red as nice part usage. That's very smart. That's very smart. I love this so much. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up, we have the modern racing car 1/10 scale. This is a Technic style build, which is rare for the BrickLink designer program, which is the reason that I'm highlighting it right now. I like everything about this submission except for the fact that there are no minifigures, and I also don't like the blue pins. I know in the BDP you cannot really recolor parts, but I wish that the designer found a way to use only the pins that are not blue in the submission. I know that's going to be difficult, but if they had done that, then I think that would elevate the model even further. But as it is right now, I'm not going to criticize it too much. It's a very beautiful model, and it could serve as a nice unlicensed alternative to all those licensed Technic vehicles that we get every year from regular Lego sets. So again, congrats to the designer for working on. Next up, we have a meme submission by Pepe Frost, and we will see this designer again later. So quickly friends that offer free hugs. You see the free hug sign right there, and basically, a guy saying, "I'm not your friend, pal." So funny all around. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, but it's just great to see these meme sets. Laugh at them. So yeah, free hugs. Yeah, this is a cool submission, and maybe it might ironically make it. Next up, we have the rice fields. The submission is a lot more serious, and the source material or subject material is very interesting as well. We have a small building, some minifigures, and we see a rice plantation. So lots of angled building. We're not just building something that's rectangular. So I really like the use of the angles here. That's really nice, and I also like the color scheme of the green, bright green. It all fits together very well. So another successful submission. Oh yeah, just look at it from this angle. That's really nice. Like with the water, the foliage, it just looks so nice. After this, we have the scuba diorama. But this one I like because they're basically representing underwater using these transparent pieces. We have some stuff that's over water and then some stuff that's underwater. And there's lots of details underwater, including the shark. There's a minifigure there that's exploring stuff. So lots of cool stuff done in the scuba diorama. And even around the back, it looks nice as well. So yeah, the designer clearly put a lot of thought into what the thing is going to look like. And the end result, I think, is worth it. So again, here we have a scuba diorama. Oh, and it can fold up. I did not realize that. Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up, we have the Serpent Ruin. This one just reminds me of the Devourer from Ninjago. He's a giant snake that comes out of the earth to devour everything, so it does remind me of that. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea, and I like the way that they made this snake using foliage pieces, so perhaps it's a mix between an animal form and a plant form. Very interesting concept. Definitely scary. I would not want to keep this in the night. So yeah, very interesting stuff to think about there as well. Perfect ruin. Next up we have the Silverwood Crossing. The roof reminds me of Rivendell very much because of its pattern and color scheme, which is similar. The bridge is nice, the water is nice. I like the use of the popcorn piece here for the foam. That's very cool. I also like the way that they did the wings here. That's awesome. Yeah, this is a very serene, very calm, very peaceful subject. I love it. And then after this we have the subway square. This one, again, I like trains, I like subways, I like buildings, so there's lots of things to like here. It is not fully enclosed, but I think it is understandable at this scale that this is meant to be more of a diorama than a fully enclosed thing, which is okay. And we see here like some station details. I like the way that we see there's a cross section of the station right here. That's pretty cool. We have an entrance to the station at the top. Yeah, the designers really thought of everything. Yeah, there's even like a way to go downstairs. That's really, really nice. And you can also fold in half to turn into a closed subway station. And the modules on top can be removed to fit a 32 by 32 on the subway station. So it looks like you can turn this into a fully enclosed building for all, or kind of fully enclosed, but yeah, so this is definitely interesting. More interesting than when I first saw the mission. Yeah, I might have wanted to put this in like top 5, but nevertheless, like it's a very, very successful mission. Oh, I did not see this before. This is the subway map for Montreal, where I used to live, the major city in Canada, second largest city in Canada. So that's definitely instantly recognizable. The Montreal map right here. That's amazing. Belleville, that's a French term as well. So I think this designer might be from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not going to undo my selection. I already made my decision on my top 5, but I could add this to be the top 6. This is really, really nice. Nicer than I thought when I was just like scrolling through the images. Very cool work by the designer right here, Nylock. The Red Rose Hospital. That's the next submission. And by the way, I'm not pre-recording this. I'm basically doing this live and giving my live reaction and keeping all the very minimal editing, just because I want to get this video out as soon as possible on the day that these are released or shortly thereafter. So I've always wanted to get a modular hospital, and this model delivers. There's lots of interior detail, lots of exterior detail as well, more than I was expecting. So really nice, and due to the part count, I also ran into this issue with the Awesome Space Tower. I'm sure the designer wanted to do more, but they couldn't just because there's a limit of 4,000 pieces. So that's why we only have half a floor here instead of an entire floor. So understandable. Still, there's a working elevator, and it has a nice mechanism to it. There's an ambulance. So I think the designer used their part budget very well. There's a baby as well. Yeah, very, very nice submission right here. Although the reason why I think this will not get selected is because LEGO is said to be releasing a modular hospital at some time in the future. We don't know officially when that's going to be, but it could be in 2027 at some point. So for that reason, very likely they're not going to select this, even if a lot of people vote for it. I know lots of people do want a modular hospital in their LEGO city, including me. Another modular style building is this stationery store. I like the brick-built facade at the front. This is a set that can be displayed opened or closed. Either way is fine. I like the brick-built lettering, which is something we used to see from LEGO in the past, but we don't see that anymore. So nice to see a return to that. And this closes up in a very interesting way. So here it is open, first of all. And when we close it, it actually closes like this. There's a bit of overlap, and this is genius, the way the designer did this. I would have never been able to think of it. So that's an awesome solution by the designer. Here's what it looks like fully enclosed. And of course, it will fit very nicely within your LEGO city. You just need to make a few adjustments. So yeah, here's a look at the individual levels. Yeah, lots of nice colors here. And you know, like, because we have all these pieces, we're gonna get extra pieces for every single one of them. That's useful for people who are gonna build this stuff. Yeah, it just looks so nice. Very well done. Got some nice minifigures as well. So another amazing submission. Next up, we have the tribute to the 80s themes set. Here there's like a map or diagram that explains what we're going to be getting here, and basically it's Castle, Pirate City, Legoland, and space. Although I do think the designer should have called this town, because back then there was no such thing as Lego City, only Lego Town. But that's a minor nitpick. So here's the castle module. You get a knight minifigure on a white horse. The pirate module, I like the way they did the water. The water is my favorite part of this build. And basically because it's on a turntable, the boat is on a turntable, it's going to be able to go back and forth, which makes it seem as if it's going on the water. That's really nice. The city module, or what should be called the fun module, is basically a house of 3 floors. And there's this 4-wide vehicle that looks a bit too modern for the 1980s. Yes, I know in the 1980s they might have had a bunch of these pieces, but still, it looks more modern than it needs to be. If it was more blocky, if it looked less good, then it actually made more good in this case. You get what I mean. And finally, we have the space module, which is my favorite. I love the use of the gold classic space minifigure right here, although I think they should have kept the additional smiley face, like original classic space from the 1980s, because we only got these expressions way, way later. Here's a tribute to Legoland, although back then all Lego sets were called Lego, not just the ones for theme park. And yeah, here are the minifigures. I do think that other than the pirates, they should have all kept classic smiley face, like the third minifigure wearing blue, because that's the only minifigure print that was available for most of the 1980s, all the way up until 1980. Next up, we have the Watchers of the Midnight Sea by Pepe Frost. Told you that they would come up again, and this is an amazing submission. I like the design, I like the presentation, I like the part usage, the color scheme. Everything about this is amazing. It separates, and the passage, lots of minifigures. This is an amazing submission, and I think this does have a chance of making it. And finally, again by Pepe Frost, a working toilet. This is a very funny submission, another meme submission, but this one actually I think can have a better chance of being a LEGO set than the other one. Though I'm not sure if LEGO would actually produce a toilet like this. So I don't know if this will actually win, regardless of how many people vote for it, but it's funny. Yeah, it's really cool. And you see here, like, you can actually flush the thing. That's so hilarious. Yeah, it's funny in the best possible way. I think there's a certain type of person that will really appreciate this. Not me personally. It's not really my style, but I do appreciate what it is. I would say like it's awful taste, great execution. But yeah, different strokes for different folks, and I do see that people could want this. But yeah, that's funny. The figure here sweating as he's about to take the plunge. That's funny. This is a funny set. So now, with that being said, I'll give you my top 5 predictions, which sets do I think are going to win in the end. So I think we're going to get Bricksterdam this time. We have seen this set before, but unfortunately it did not make it in the previous submission, but it is available now for voting again. I do think that it will make it this time, just because we have seen resubmissions that failed the first time, the second time, they eventually get in the third time or later. So this is a very nice submission. You can reconfigure it to move things around, have the bridge be in the middle, for example. All the buildings are fully enclosed. Here's what they look like on the back. You can hear like the separation of the buildings, the way that's done. I like the way they did this bird. It's like flying in the sky. Lots of good stuff in this. Next up, we have the Citadel of the Snake, and this is also something that appears to be a legendary submission. It can be fully enclosed, or it could be opened up. I think tiling, like the be right here, like the dome. Color scheme is very consistent. A little bit of gold and sand green to break up the tan and brown. Minifigures with the accessories, it's very nice to see as well. So yeah, I love the way they did this. I love the nice part usage for the door as well, using those tech gear rack pieces. That's just perfection. Yeah, look at that. There's a better look at those gear rack pieces being used for the door. That's an amazing design right there. Kudos to the designer for this. Wow. And minifigures seem to be having a good time as well. This is amazing. And I also like the presentation, the colors that the designer used, like the tan, the purple, every single thing. I think it's going to help sell this set. Next up, we have the Pirate Key or Pirate K, however you want to pronounce it in your area of the world. But basically, we have like lots of very interesting buildings put together, and they can be configured in different ways, like so. So I know lots of people are pirate fans, so actually might end up selling out if it goes in 2027 or 2026. Actually, it goes on sale 2027 when it gets shipped. So lots of cool stuff here as well. I like the color balancing. You can open it up and play with the minifigures on the interior as well. Lots of cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff. I think it really has the potential to be popular. Next up, we have the Emerald Abyss or Prison Castle by Mocker Mommy. This thing is so detailed. I know I've said that before on other sets, but this is just on another level entirely. Just look at this thing. This thing is amazing. My guess is that this is going to be like the next Lego castle that everyone wants to have. It's just so good. I like the color scheme, the green, the teal, the black, the brown and gray. It just somehow it all works together in a very, very nice way. Better than I would have thought possible. Just look at some of the interior details. The whole thing can be opened up. Yeah, this is very nice. This is very nice. The minifigures at the bottom as well. Yeah, that's the Emerald Abyss. Best Abyss I've ever seen. And finally, Exploring Highlands. This is more of a wild card, and I just wanted to go a little bit crazy for my last prediction. So I think this set definitely does have the potential. It's completely different, and I've noticed that every year or every cycle we get at least one set that does not fit the mold. It's not always possible to predict things 100% accuracy. You could just say, oh, we're gonna have 5 castles, but in reality, no. Yes, we'll get 1 or 2 castles, but we'll also get some other stuff. And I just like a lot of things about the model, but the thing that draws me personally is the tree. It's completely rounded. I have not seen this in LEGO before, so this really intrigued me. And then after looking at the tree, I started looking at the other parts of the model, and they do not disappoint either. So lots of good stuff here, and I do think that this could become a LEGO set as well. Alright, so with that, we've looked at all the sets that I have time to mention for BTP Series 9. Once again, please remember to vote for the app development team. Make sure to love it, as well as the awesome Space Tower. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and also in the comments of the submissions. And thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.